The best testimonies come directly from our clients, which is why I'm happy to hand it over to my colleague Alex Adam, as well as our guests from IG Markets, who are using our compliance-enabling messaging solution today. Aaron, Luke, and Alex, all yours.
Hello, everybody. So first off, thank you to Maisa and Chris for your contagious energy and for such a wonderful demo. Thank you to Luke and Aaron for being with me here on stage today. And as Maisa mentioned, we really do pride ourselves in having our customers on stage presenting the impact of the real use cases achieved with Symphony. And today we'll be discussing IG's usage of our federated WhatsApp solution. So Aaron, given that you've been the main driver of the Symphony project for about 2 years now, it's been quite a journey, we'll start with you. So could you tell us a bit about IG Group, its core businesses, and some of the key strategies and priorities you hold within the client servicing space?
Yeah, of course. So IG are actually a global fintech firm, and we offer an online trading platform and educational content to our clients, predominantly trading in the OTC derivatives space, but ETPs and more traditional products in share dealing and investment as well. And we're constantly trying to evolve our products in our proposition to really make sure that we're meeting client demand and giving them whatever they need, whatever their expectations are of us as a brand. And one of our core values at IG is to really champion the client and make sure that we are servicing them in the best way possible, whether that's the UX they experience on our platform, or, as Luke's probably more better placed, I guess, to tell you about the way that we service them through our people. So I'll hand over to you.
Great, thank you. So now, Luke, on to you. So as an account manager and as a salesperson myself, I understand that it can be quite difficult to get clients to respond at the speed that I would like. That's never been the case between us. You both have always been extremely responsive. I'm very grateful. But Luke, given your role as a premium client manager, what are some of the traditional ways in which you engage with your clients, but also some of the challenges that you face specifically within the communication side?
Yeah, sure. And look, I'm firstly glad to see that you got the notice about wearing a pocket square today. Glad that little sync-up chat worked. Look, my role is to represent clients. And I think the important thing to note with us is our clients don't necessarily work for banks. They're not traders. These guys aren't mandated to talk to us. You know, we're an execution-only service. So the really important part for me is to make sure that we are presenting what we believe is our value proposition. You know, as a premium client, we want to make sure that we're offering a bespoke, best-in-class service. And for me as an account manager, that involves a very human problem of talking to them. And I think the real difficulty that we have in traditional methods is if we are trying to make a phone conversation to initiate a relationship, you know, we're usually interrupting clients' days, right? These guys are, you know, potentially business owners. They're people that work in, you know, they're doctors, they're surgeons, they are people that could be driving, they could be on a train, they could be on a plane, they really could be anywhere. But they're trading because they're ambitious, they're self-driven, and they've got a real kind of keen interest and have actively chosen us as their trusted partner. So traditionally, we're going to try and call them. That doesn't work. We're going to try and send them an email. You know, and in London, we look after roughly the top, well, as a group of account managers globally, we look after about 90% of group revenue. So we're really quite concentrated at the high end. In London, my team are roughly a team of 20, split into 3 or 4 teams. And so we look after anywhere between 150 and 170 clients each. So you can really see that kind of pinching point. You know, if I can speak to a third of my clients and I can generate a relationship and a conversation, fantastic. If I can't, how do I propose the value proposition? You know, the clients are interacting with the same app, the same service, the markets are the same, you know, the risk is the same. And so for us, it's really a case of trying to convey that message and start a conversation, you know. And I think the big thing that I've always been quite a keen driver on is trying to live where the clients live. And that was a really kind of key reason as to why we initiated with Symphony.
Yeah. And so you mentioned the need for an alternative solution. So I actually want to turn this now to you, Aaron. So given that you were the one responsible for the research, investigation, and ultimately the decision-making process of finding a tool that was at the same time compliant, but could also maintain that personal connect that you were referring to, and also deliver on user experience. So therefore, can you explain some of the factors that led you into choosing Symphony's federated WhatsApp solution as the alternative channel for the premium client managers?
Yeah, of course. So One of the things that Luke sort of has touched on quite a lot is making sure that we're meeting our client demands. So there was a very clear demand from quite a lot of our high value clients that they wanted to be able to access their account managers and also for the account managers to contact them through WhatsApp. But of course, we're not the only stakeholder isn't the client. We've got to make sure from a regulatory perspective, from our investors' perspective, that they're still confident that we're doing things in a compliant manner. And that's where sort of Symphony came in, and obviously the lovely Alex came in as our account manager here, that soldiers on the brand. But it was really looking at something that could solve the issue in a way that our own internal teams were really confident in. And we actually already had Symphony installed, and we were using it for the Bloomberg chat functionality, not on the account manager side, but on our dealing desk side. And that just was really, really well received. So from a usability perspective, the dealing desk were really confident that the tool worked, that it was easy to use. There was a really quality service from the guys at Symphony. If there were any problems, it was constantly being managed. And I think Luke and I can attest that's continued since we also went with the WhatsApp solution. So it really ticked all of the boxes that we needed in both the commercial side and the compliance side, which is not something that happens too often, but definitely did in this case.
Alex, you can give Erin that
I was
five.
going to say, it's very lovely to work with the both of you. No, thank you, Erin. That's very interesting. And I think as a final question, I think the most important one, and I'm going to bring it back to you, Luke, because as someone that uses our product and the solution on a day-to-day basis, but to also engage with your clients, can you tell us a bit about your personal experience, but also allude a bit to how this has been received by clients and some of the feedback there?
Yeah, of course. Look, I think in short, it's been nothing but game-changing. In reality, on one hand, we're now saving our clients a lot of phone credit on their with their personal with their telco plans because we're just passing so many more messages, and it's been really interesting to see how the tool has been picked up by the 20 of us here in London, and then we've gone on and we've been an ambassador for the WhatsApp Connect product within IG globally, and setting an example for the rest of our colleagues, and therefore representing our clients even better. I think the way that I can disseminate the kind of impact as a relationship manager, as I'm sure you can attest to, for us it's a lot about business development, but it's also a lot about retention. And I've got kind of a couple of examples about how this has worked. So, in the news recently, if we start to talk about retention, one of the key ways that we use this is to pass on breaking news pretty quickly. And we know that our clients are busy. We know that they're not necessarily watching the markets all the time. We're quite a unique part of the market in that sense. And THG has been a stock that's been in the news a lot recently. One of my colleagues was using the Blast tool to make sure that as soon as there was any breaking news, we were able to get that out to the 5 or 6 clients that he was covering instantly, and they were informed straight away. And I think something like that, it's a very popular stock within the retail market and amongst our clients. Because we were the first ones to effectively break the news to the clients, as soon as there was something that we were able to lift from an external news sourcing, whether there was something, some commentary on a social media site, or whether it was something through, a Bloomberg or CNBC or of any of these kind of places, we were the ones that were getting it out. So for us, it allows us to be top of the client's mind, to know that we are the quality operator in the market. We are the ones that are going to get this news across to them as quickly as possible, so they can attest and adjust and change their portfolio and their position as and when. That's what I would kind of say is a key retention tool. When I now look through at business development, there's plenty of examples, but one that my colleague was telling me recently is that he had a particular client that was semi-active. He was trading with us for a little while, but to our mind, he was quite unengaged. Several telephone conversations to no success. He even tried calling, in the morning, in the evening, was trying to figure out whether this chap was, working full time, whether he was doing something for a business. We just don't know. Connected via Symphony, and it turns out that this chap travels a lot. He's always in the air, and he just could never get hold of him. What it now has attained to the fact that we've actually brought a lot of the client's business across from other providers. So what was a good client of ours, a great client to have, became a very, very good client. And so for this particular account manager, he's now a top 3 client, and they've organised meetings, and there's actually been a huge amount of business development going on. So that is a very, very pure cause and effect about that one particular client. And the third thing I'd touch on that we initially thought was going to be a blocker was because the WhatsApp service is through Meta, we have to first send out we have to onboard them. They then receive a prompt to say, do you wish to accept this message from your account manager? And we've got that message quite tailored. We thought that was going to be a blocker. We thought that would annoy people. But actually, it's done the exact opposite. One of the big things we're quite keen on in our brand and the way that we want to move the business forward is about inspiring confidence. That's both inspiring confidence for clients, trading their own money through education, through data, and it's also having confidence in us as their preferred broker. So with all the stories about all these compliance issues going on around the world, the fact that we can convey that at the start of the relationship on Symphony, it's actually, we're getting tons of feedback about how much that's helping clients and how comfortable they are with using the product. It's surprising us every single day.
That's amazing. And I love that you touch upon the confidence on the client side as well, because I think that's something that is important to hear, and it's excellent feedback.
It's so important. It's so important. You know, these people are trading their own money and investing their own money. You know, they don't have risk managers. They don't have, you know, the whole kind of infrastructure around them that people working as traders in banks have. And that's where we need to represent these people and making sure that we're cutting through the noise. And anything that we can do to inspire that confidence for themselves or for us is a win-win for us.
Yeah, and thank you to Harry and Alex and Aylin, because a lot more functionality coming, like you said, the blast bot, et cetera, so we're very excited. So that concludes our discussion here, so thank you, Luke and Aaron, for being on stage with us and closing out the customers portion for Innovate 2023.